I am so tired of you acting like you speak for the people of the state of Indiana or the city of Indianapolis. You do not speak for me or anyone I know. Now listen, you two jerks. Jerks on the right.
Good morning, everybody. It was
in the world.
A little bit of a delayed start this morning. Coming up on the show today, tariffs and trade wars and TEMU. Oh my! Cory Booker explains how he stayed pee-free. You guys, everybody wants to know. And
I mean, you kind of do, right? I'm curious.
I totally do. You're freezing up. Something's going on with your internet today. What's going on?
Really? I don't feel frozen.
I don't feel frozen. And Martha MacCallum rips Senator Coons. All of that and so much more coming up on the show today. You guys can reach us in all the places, do all the things, see all the things at www.chicksontheright.com/links. Please do that. Please do it and engage in all of our socials. Also, click subscribe to this podcast. I implore you to do that if you haven't done that already. I don't know why you haven't done that already. And then also tell a friend about it. Just click subscribe. Also, if you haven't tried it, you should try our new coffee sponsor. I have the morning reaper here and also the blueberry crumble, which is bomb.com. I don't know if you can see it. It's so good, you guys. They are a family-owned coffee company that's dedicated to small batches, it makes it even better. And they will deliver it right to your door. And they have flavors, you guys.
So many.
Right.
I cannot even decide because there's so many that I want.
So good. Such great stuff. We're so excited to have them as a sponsor. So for a limited time, you can visit blackoutcoffee.com/chicks. Use code chicks at checkout for 20% off your first order. Please try it. Coffee. Cheers.
Blackout coffee even.
Do it.
Do it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. We're seeing some comments from Facebook because that was it was not working. Like for some reason, we just did not want to connect, and now it seems that it is connected. So that is great. We're going to talk about the tariff situation, and I got to tell you, I'm just going to tell you right up front, I don't get it. So. We're going to have a lot of different perspectives to show you. Obviously, basically, the thing to know is if you're on the left, you hate them. If you are on the right, you're pretty stoked about this Liberation Day that we had yesterday. But if you're anybody in the United States looking at the markets today, it's going to be a little scary. I'm just putting that out there, and we'll talk about all of that in just a second. But first, we do need to address some really awful, disgusting, horrible news. And that is the story of this teenager, 17-year-old twin, identical twin, named Austin Metcalf, who was stabbed to death by this other cat that you see on your screen right now, Carmelo Anthony. And for no reason. It was at a track field, and it was literally over a seat. Somebody was sitting in the wrong spot, and someone's dead over it, and someone else is going to spend his life in prison for it.
Yeah,
it's such a waste.
Austin was 16. Carmelo is 17. It was at a track meet, and my daughter, she is friends with a couple girls from church camp she goes to in the summertime that knew this Austin. He was a great kid, good kid, great athlete. One of the last tweets, I think the last tweet he put out was something about like God is going to, provide for me or something like that. I mean, he was a good kid. It's just so senseless.
It's just, I can't. Yeah. I hate these stories.
I hate him too. I hate him too.
So obviously remember Austin Metcalf's name. You can forget about the other guy, but remember Austin's name. Cause what a senseless, useless, stupid, idiotic thing all the way around. So kid lost his life. Yeah. And they're just gone forever. Cause that other kid, if he doesn't get the death penalty, which he should, then he's going to certainly spend the rest of his life behind bars.
Hopefully.
it's just so
senseless.
It makes no sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're going to get on to some other things. So you guys remember the story earlier this week? We shared with you an email from a woman named Sylvia. And Sylvia said that she wanted us to stop giggling, that it was not professional, and that men do not giggle on podcasts. And she said, so you have a good show, but cut it out. And naturally, we responded with the raccoon.
Yeah, don't tell us what to do.
Don't
tell us what to do, raccoon. Right. She must be new here.
Yeah, exactly. And then one of our eagle-eyed audience members sent me an email yesterday saying, hey, I found Sylvia, because she has an unusual last name. They looked up her Facebook profile. I'm not doxing her or anything, so I've, crossed out her and her last name. But I want everybody to notice what she used as her bio on Facebook. Okay. She said, advocate for laughter.
I hope she doesn't get paid for that, because she should be fired.
I just cannot.
She's an advocate.
I could not believe it.
She's an advocate for laughter, just not for us. She doesn't like it for us, you guys.
I mean, what in the world? And so, that is a lie. She is not an advocate. She is a liar.
Fraud. You're a fraud, Sylvia.
That is false advertising in every way. So anyway, just wanted to have that follow-up on Sylvia.
We're all about the follow-up.
I mean, can you even? You just can't.
I can't.
I can't
even. I can. Right.
Also, I got another email this morning from Aura, and this was rather alarming, but it reminded me of how glad I am to have Aura's protection. So we've talked about Aura before. They are our sponsor, and they are your shield of your information, so you can be protected. Your information is protected no matter what's going on the dark web, which is the scary part of the
dark, you guys.
So
very
dark. So I get this email saying, hey, your email and password have been compromised on the dark web. And so you need to know that. Here's all the information. So what they did is I clicked on it right away, and I was like, oh my gosh. They showed me the email address, which is the one I currently use, and the password that had been listed on the dark web. Now, thankfully, it was an old password, but now I'm going to be scrambling all day to see if there's any old, I don't know, random store accounts that I may have used that on forever ago that I'd never changed it. So, and now I know that I need to go through all my passwords and make sure if there's anything that still uses that old password, I get rid of it. And I'm just so grateful to have that, to get the alert that has happened so that I can be proactive about getting that fixed, especially when you know that there's creepazoids out there like that trans lawyer activist weirdo Alejandra Caraballo from Harvard, who basically leaked all of the DOGE employees' information. I mean, there's people out there that are insane, which we don't have to tell you twice. You already know this just from our first story about Austin. But at least when it comes to your personal information, you've got somebody that's got your back. So you can do a 14-day free trial with Aura by just going to aura.com/ and you can get 14 days for free. Check it out. Check out all the different services that they offer, because there's a lot of them and they are fantastic. All right, let's talk about the tariffs, because this is obviously the big news of the day. And it started, we've been hearing about it from the Trump administration for weeks now. And Trump made there was pomp and circumstance. He made the announcement in the Rose Garden. He spent a whole bunch of time talking about it. We've got a little clip of his little part of his speech about it.
In the coming days, there will be complaints from the globalists and the outsourcers and special interests and the fake news. The fake news will always complain. But never forget, every prediction our opponents made about trade for the last 30 years has been proven totally wrong. They were wrong about NAFTA. They were wrong about China. They were wrong about the Trans-Pacific Partnership, which would have been a disaster if I didn't terminate it. If I didn't terminate that, United Auto Workers, you would have had no jobs in this country. You would have had no jobs. It was all going to other countries. In my first term, they said tariffs would crash the economy. Instead, we built the greatest economy in the history of the world. And again, I have great respect for President Xi of China, great respect for China, but they were taking tremendous advantage of us, and I commend them for that. I say, hey, if you can get away with it, that's okay. But they understand exactly what's happening, and they probably, most of them are saying it's about time they did something. But and they're going to fight, and they're going to fight fair. Everyone's going to fight. It's like I say to the leaders, look, you got to take care of your country, but we have to start taking care of our country now. We can't do what we've been doing for the last 50 years.
I agree.
Yeah. In principle, I also agree. And we've been hearing about no one should be surprised by this. Like absolutely no one. He's been talking about this forever. He did hold up this chart. This is a part of that chart. I know it's hard to read, but it basically lists all the different countries. There's a column that shows what tariffs they charge the United States, and then the proposed tariffs that the United States will charge them. The question, though, is where these numbers came from. And so there were some Twitter sleuths that were trying to understand it, and they ended up figuring out that it's really not the percentage being charged on specific goods, but like a deficit number between what we trade with that particular country now and I don't even know what. Like it was the craziest configuration of numbers ever that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. So that, that's giving people some pause. It's making people worried because in some cases, even there are countries that are charging us very, very little who are going to end up being charged a whole lot. And then other countries who charge us a ton who are not going to be charged a lot. So there's not a whole lot of rhyme or reason to how these numbers are configured, but a lot of people on the right are just saying, just go with it. We're going to see what happens. This is all going to work out. Trump has a plan, and that's what we're going with. I was heartened, I guess, to hear from Scott Bessent, who we love. And Scott Bessent is super chill about it. He did say there's going to be some pain, but that other countries need to not immediately react with counter tariffs. He talked to Bret Baier about that right here.
Brett, I say that what we are doing is we're setting the stage for long-term economic growth, that we were on our way to a financial crisis. I used to teach a history of financial crises, and with that gigantic government spending, it was unsustainable. You look back in 1998, you look back in 2007, right before it looked great, everything collapsed. So, it looked great right before everything collapsed. So we have taken us off that trajectory, and we are putting ourselves back onto a sound trajectory.
So I think that a lot of the angst comes from people who are so used to instant gratification. And so much of the time in this country, a lot of people, especially on the left, they're so used to instant gratification. I want it free. I want it now. Give it to me, give it to me, give it to me. And the left is so used to, the people on the left, the politicians on the left are so used to like, okay, I'll give you your crap for free. I'll give it to you now. You can, here's your instant gratification. We're not that party. We wrote about it in our book. We're the broccoli party. We're like, you cannot build a muscle in a day. You can't. It takes time. It takes patience. It takes hard work. It takes sucking it up and eating the right things and doing the right things. It's not fun. You know what I mean? It's not, we're doing the things that are not fun in order to get the results that we want. And some people don't want to do that. Some people want the instant gratification. Well, sorry.
And, I think we talked about it a few weeks ago that there's actually sort of a, there's some rationale behind tanking the stock market as much pain as it causes those of us who are invested in it. Mm-hmm. And most everybody is. Seeing it tank this way is certainly not fun, but a lot of people have been talking about the fact that we need to refinance some of the debt that we have. And in order to do that, we want the lowest rates possible, which will happen as a result of the market kind of crashing. So there are some positives to be gained as a country. Now, as individuals, it can be kind of ouchy. And the ultimate goal, to your point, that you can't build muscle in a day, you also can't bring manufacturing back to the United States in a day. That is going to take some time.
Totally. Right.
And he's done really, really well in the first 100 days of bringing tons of investments from companies back to the United States. But there's the promise of investments, which is great. And then there's the time that it takes to actually build the plants and hire the people and make the products. I mean, that could be years. So there is going to be pain in the short term. But I think ultimately, the rationale and the reason to do it is good. I mean, I think it's a good reason. It's just going to potentially suck for a little while.
Yeah, people just don't like the painful road that it takes to get there. They want the instant gratification. Well, sorry, and
we got a country to save.
Right. And he has been right about a lot of these things, about most of these things. And I trust the business guy. I don't trust the politicians. I trust the guy who has built businesses. And my earring just fell out. And the guy who has actually done business, right? I trust him. I don't trust some schlep in Washington who has never built anything. So, I mean, who are you guys going to trust? I think the decision is pretty easy on that one,
Well, and to your point about being the broccoli party and not the ice cream party, there's now there's also been a loophole that Trump has closed with executive order that is going to make those of you who buy stuff from TEMU or however you say it. And what's the other one? Yeah, Shein. Those two, apparently they send like just some astronomical amount of packages every single day to people who want cheap clothes, cheap furniture, cheap whatever that they can get from those websites where everything is built in China. I have never gotten stuff from there because I hate them. Like the thought of it makes me so angry. The fact that so many of these sites that you see on Facebook lie, and they'll say, oh, we made this dress in South Carolina. And then you do the digging and you go to the website and you see they're all connected. They're all from the same giant shady ass Chinese companies. And so I try my hardest not to ever buy from them. And now that's going to go away because now I think there's going to be he's basically eliminating the loophole that allows them to send $800 or less without paying a duty. And now that's going to go away. So now if you try to buy, and I think this is effective pretty much immediately, if you try to buy from a Shein or a TEMU or whatever, you're going to pay automatically 3% higher or $25 extra per item. So the prices are going to go up. And I think, honestly, that's a good thing because we need to not be rewarding our biggest enemy with all kinds of purchases. You know what I mean?
I totally get it. But I think on the flip side, too, we need to start creating more stuff in America and making that stuff more affordable. Because it's absurd that like the same shirt that you buy on Shein or whatever those places are, if that shirt is $10 on Shein and then it's like $80 here in America. Like that doesn't make what are we doing? So we need to start manufacturing more stuff, obviously, in America. That all needs to change. It just needs to change. We need to start buying American, but it does take time. It takes time. And so I know but it sucks for people who, I like to buy things affordably. I mean? I don't want to pay $80 for a shirt. I don't do that.
And we wouldn't if there were more companies and more competition and all of that stuff was happening in America.
Right.
And so ultimately the rationale again is really, really good. It's just that I worry because, you'll hear from Rand Paul in a little bit about why this is such a potential problem politically. But before we get to that, let's hear some more from Scott Bessent, who was also talking with Kaitlan Clark.
Countries retaliate, which some have said that they would. Some have said they wanted to wait and see. What is the White House's response going to be to those countries?
Well, Kaitlan, one of the messages that I'd like to get out tonight is everybody sit back, take a deep breath. Don't immediately retaliate. Let's see where this goes, because if you retaliate, that's how we get escalation.
And then it becomes a full-fledged trade war, in your view?
Not a trade war, depends on the country. But remember that the history of trade is we are the deficit country. The deficit country has an advantage. They are the surplus countries. The surplus countries traditionally always lose any kind of a trade escalation. So I did, as a student of economic history or a professor of economic history, I'd advise against it.
So you're essentially saying that they should not retaliate?
I would say that doing anything rash would be unwise.
I love that he's talking to her, though.
I never remember which one is which. The basketball player and her. I can never keep their names straight. Cannot do it. It's just,
Kaitlan,
I can't.
She's Caitlin Collins. Is that right?
I think so. I called her Caitlin Clark, which is wrong, right?
Caitlin Clark is the basketball player.
Okay.
I think so.
I don't know why that's...
I think we're right about that. Yeah.
It just won't stick. I'm probably going to make that mistake a million more times, but I just need you to know that I'm aware of my brain block about it. I'm trying my best.
Yeah. Caitlin Collins is the CNN chick.
Yes. Like and you're right. I'm glad he talked to her too.
I am too. Yeah.
She tried to be like, which is basically all she does.
Yeah.
And he was like, just zip it.
She's perma complainer. She's like a Karen on steroids. Yeah. No offense to Karens.
Maybe she just needs a really good meal, and I can tell you where she can get one, and that's from Home Chef. homechef.com/chicks18. What was that good? Was that a good segue?
Great. She's like the queen of She needs a good meal, you guys. She needs a good meal.
I'm telling you guys. Look at this. Look at that. Tell me
amazing.
Right? This is one of my favorites.
She had me at penne, right? Yeah.
That is the saucy ground beef penne. Super, super easy. I always, because you have choices when you get fresh food from Home Chef, which is amazing. And everything is delivered to you fresh. The ingredients are fresh. Everything is fresh. And you can choose. Like if you really love cooking, you can make some seriously ornate, amazing meals. I prefer, because they do have this option as well, there's a category called either oven ready or like express. Those are the categories that I gravitate to, because they're either just like ready to throw in an oven. You might have to like chop up some veggies or something, but everything is so ready to go. And the pasta is a great example. We had is it cavatappi? Am I saying that right? There's like a whole other noodle.
I have no idea what you just said. I have no idea.
It's like a corkscrew curly kind of pasta.
Wow, that's fancy.
Oh my God. So good, you guys. Yeah. Everything that you get is so good, and you only get the exact amount of ingredients you need for that meal for your family, whether you're feeding 2 or 4 or however many. You get exactly what you need so that you're not going to the grocery store and having to buy like a jar of something that you're going to need a spoonful out of. You are only getting what you need. And honestly, you end up saving money. I think we end up saving money versus going to the grocery store, and like you just end up not using a lot of the stuff that you have to buy.
Right.
So you can make mealtime super easy with Home Chef. And for a limited time, you can get 50% off plus free shipping for your first box. Plus you get free dessert with an active subscription at homechef.com/chicks18. Don't forget the 18, chicks18 at homechef.com/chicks18. It's delicious, you guys. I don't know how else to tell you that it's delicious except to tell you it is like really, 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 really good. Okay, moving on. So you just heard Scott Bessent tell Caitlin Collins that his advice to other countries is just chill and don't get all immediately, we're going to retaliate. So what did Canada do? Prime Minister Mark Carney announces that Canada will place counter-tariffs on the United States.
Carney is such a dick, isn't he?
Yeah, he's kind of
a dick. Yeah.
And Democrats are losing their minds about this. They're saying that this is absolutely the worst thing ever, the worst thing possible. But there's reactions from people who are workers of this country who helped elect Donald Trump that are super stoked about it. Here's an example of a steel worker from Indiana who was reacting to this news and talking about why he and his fellow steel workers are stoked about these tariffs.
Very excited about it. And a lot of my brothers and sister steel workers, like Brian, were very excited about it because we saw what it did back in 2018. It definitely made a difference in the market. It held back all the influx of all the stuff coming over from everywhere else. Saved a lot of jobs. Did a lot of good for us. As an American, just as a country, it did a lot. But for the steel industry, it definitely helped us.
There you go.
Workers are stoked. So I hope that they're right.
And this is the thing, is that if you look at what because he's already done a little bit of this. If you look at what he did back in his first term, I mean, there were good things that were happening before COVID. Remember? Does anybody remember that? I remember.
I know we all like to block that out.
Yeah, it's like, well, people block it out because COVID was so traumatic for people. But things were going pretty well before COVID, before, the Fauci virus.
Yeah, things were going awesome.
Right.
I mean, things were like really, 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 really good. And so I hope I'm not an economist and I don't have the financial sense to really understand what the potential impacts are. But in my defense, the economists are all over the place about this issue. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I don't think that there's consensus about this because a lot of this is just going to be a wait and see. And we'll find out how other countries respond. We'll see who comes to the table to negotiate. We'll see what all these tariffs look like 3 months from now, because a lot of people are suggesting this is what it's going to look like going in. And then there's going to be the talking, right? There's going to be the negotiating. And then things will sort of simmer down and we'll see where we end up. But I completely agree with the idea of not allowing the United States to be taken advantage of anymore and to pay for other countries' deficits and to just continue to subsidize everybody. It's America first. And I am 100% down with that, even when there's pain in the short term.
150% on board.
Yes. Here's JD Vance, also with some reassurance.
Qualify the understanding based on what we just saw with those 20 plus Nobel winning economists who said, if you do tariffs the wrong way, you wind up spiking prices here that get passed on to the consumer. Yeah. And that was also additive to inflation. And they criticize the Trump administration and its future plan for being at risk of doing exactly that.
Sure. So I know that's a criticism that's been out there. Here's why I don't buy it. So first of all, these are the same experts that said shipping our entire manufacturing industry to China, to East Asia, to Mexico would lead to greater American prosperity. They were wrong. It was a mistake to do that. We followed their advice. And now, frankly, a lot of Americans can't afford a good life, can't earn a middle class wage because we listened to some of those very same people. But the more immediate reason why I don't buy that argument, Chris, is look, Donald Trump was already president, right? These aren't just plans and proposals. He was already president. And when he was president, you had he did use tariffs, right? And you had the fastest rising take-home pay in 40 years in this country. You had inflation at 1.5%. So, look, you don't have to agree with everything I say or everything that Donald Trump says. But when you actually look at the policy accomplishments, we had low inflation and rising take-home pay. And I think tariffs were a big part of that.
Exactly.
I mean, I always do feel reassured when Vance lays things out because he's just got this way of laying stuff out.
That's the thing, is that there was a time where we started being prosperous again. Remember? It was like a very short time and everything started happening and everything was going great. And then COVID. Remember? You guys remember?
Yeah, I do remember. I know I've seen in our audience that some people are not fans of Batya Ungar-Sargon because they don't like her voice.
Oh, really?
But you guys, yeah, because I mean, she can get a little shrill. It's true. She gets excited and then her voice just creeps higher and higher and higher.
Yeah, but the content
I know.
Of what she's saying is so, I just don't even think about her voice because the content, you guys.
I know. I think she is so smart. And I love listening to her when she breaks stuff down. And she did that on the Piers Morgan show. She was up. Carrie Lake was also a panelist. Chunk Yogurt was also a panelist, and Batya is front and center explaining why tariffs are going to be awesome.
What's frustrating about the conversation around tariffs is that we all agree on the problem. We all agree that the deindustrialization of America led to the downward mobility of the American working class, deaths of despair, people working multiple jobs and not being able to afford the American dream. We all agree that it is deeply unfair for the American middle class to be bearing the burden of unfair tariffs from other countries. We all agree that it is great for the president to have leverage in order to demand reasonable things, like that countries stop allowing fentanyl to murder 100,000 Americans every year, and that Mexico do its part to police its own border. And yet when somebody has the courage to show up and say to Wall Street, screw you, I am waging war. I'm waging class warfare on behalf of the American working class. And you elites in Wall Street, you do what you need to do because I'm not going to stop fighting for the American working class. Suddenly, everybody is sitting around going, oh no, the stock market. Yeah, the stock market looks like that because the rich are punishing Trump for siding with the neglected and humiliated American working class over them. We have already seen these tariffs work, Pierce. The number of people crossing the southern border is at 0. Fentanyl is at record lows for the last 10 years. We have already seen $1.2 trillion in manufacturing invested in this country since January 21st. So they have already worked. Now, how long is Wall Street going to keep trying to punish this president for standing the American working class? I don't know, but I can tell you that the view from the street is people cannot believe that there is a president who is working for them, who is putting them first and telling Wall Street to go screw itself. Wall Street, which picked the Democrats for the last 3 election cycles in a row. That's what the real story is here.
And Chunk Yogurt was so mad about it.
I know, which I don't understand because this is usually what Democrats say they believe in.
Yeah, what a condescending jerk that guy is. He was just laughing at her. Seriously, how can you dispute that, Chunk? Dispute it. Give us the data and dispute it. Give us the stats because she was spitting them.
Oh, she was spitting them. But I love Pierce after that show. He was like, my prediction is President Trump's global tariff war is either going to be a spectacular success or a total disaster. And I have no clue which. That is exactly how I feel.
I think it'll be a spectacular success.
I mean, obviously that's what I want.
I just don't think it's going to be instant gratification. Like I said before, I just don't think it will be. And so we're going to have to deal with the people saying it's not working right now. Why aren't the price of eggs coming down in 5 seconds? Like,
yeah, why is the market's tanking? Oh my God, everything's over.
Right. He's a complete disaster. This is the thing, because they're not used to how business works. You know, I mean, they just don't get it. These people want everything right now. They want it for free. And they just are like me. Instant gratification. And so if they don't get that, they're going to start bitching and moaning. We're going to start seeing that in the legacy media about how he's failed. So get ready for it, because the narrative is going to be out there.
Yeah. And it's going to be ugly. There's no question about it. It is going to be ugly. Hope everybody is able to sleep through that. And if you can't, then you can get help with healthycell.com/chicks and their REM sleep. This is the magic that helps you sleep like a baby, you guys. It's filled with all the stuff that you need. It's got melatonin, lemon balm extract, GABA. It helps regulate your body temperature with glycine, magnesium, calcium. It's got L-theanine and vitamin B6 to help you stay asleep. And it's got, in order to activate your REM sleep, which is of course the deepest sleep, it's got the 5-HTP, vitamin B6, and GABA nutrients. It tastes like cherry, so it's a really yummy flavor. And if you are interested in other Healthy Cell gel packs, which of course absorb 165% better into your system than any pill or capsule or tablet that you have to choke down. These actually taste really good. You can also get one of these guys, right? These are these handy packs that come with one of every single different kind of Healthy Cell packet that they have. It's less than $20, I think, when you go to healthycell.com/chicks. And of course, if you use code chicks and it's your first order, you're going to get 20% off anyway. So you can try all of them and see which ones are best for you and whatever your specific body needs are. Again, that's healthycell.com/chicks. And then don't forget to use code chicks if you're a new customer. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. Okay. So we said what Pierce said, which was, I don't know, this could either be like the most unbelievable success ever, or it could be a total disaster, and I don't know which. I can tell you that Rand Paul is convinced that this is a disaster, and he's been speaking out about this quite a bit. Here is what he said yesterday. Here's Rand.
Tariffs have also led to political decimation. When McKinley most famously put tariffs on in 1890, they lost 50% of their seats in the next election. When Hot Smoothie put on their tariff in the early 1930s, we lost the House and the Senate for 60 years. So they're not only bad economically, they're bad politically.
And as a result of his feeling like that, the Senate actually voted to roll back Trump's tariffs on Canada. The vote was 51-48. This was a proposal from Tim Kaine. And of course, Republicans joined in, the usual suspects, Murkowski, Mitch McConnell, Rand Paul, and Susan Collins. So
I'm surprised by Rand Paul. I'm actually surprised by that.
He's such a libertarian, like he's such a hands-off, don't mess with this kind of stuff kind of guy.
Yeah, but from an economic standpoint, from a libertarian standpoint, I would think that libertarians would be like, okay, we need to either be equal on this. This doesn't make any sense to me from a libertarian standpoint. His opposition to this. I don't get it. I don't.
Well, at least in that clip, he's worried about the political consequences for sure. Because that's true, because in the short term, if things are really, really tough, we are going to lose the House. We are, we could potentially lose the Senate.
Yeah, but you shouldn't sacrifice your morals and sacrifice what you believe in just because of political expediency.
I completely agree.
I mean, that is antithetical to what I believe that Rand Paul is all about. So I'm surprised by this. I'm actually stunned that he felt this way yesterday. I was just like, who are you? What? I don't get it.
And I mean, the vote is mostly symbolic, because I don't think that the House would take this up. That would be a complete disaster, because then what is the point? If Republicans are undoing Trump's agenda, what are we doing? What are we doing? So
we gotta have principle, man. I mean, I feel like that's what will ultimately get you more votes, is if you stand on principle and not just on political gain.
You would think, but unfortunately, there's a lot of people who are disengaged from the whys, and they're only looking at, what does my life look right now? What does it look like right now? What does my bank account look like? What does my savings look like? And if those people are mad, then it could be dangerous for the midterms.
Of all people to feel that way, I'm surprised it was Rand Paul, because I don't think he's establishment. I really don't. I don't think he's establishment. I see him as being sort of an anti-establishment kind of, maybe not fringe, but he's Mr. Libertarian. I'm more like my dad kind of a guy. So that's weird to me. It's just weird.
Yeah.
Little disappointing.
I think Ron Paul is saying the same stuff. Like, I think that they're aligned on that.
Little disappointed in that.
There is other news aside from tariffs. And so we've got a few headlines to share with you. President Trump announced also yesterday that Milbank, which is a law firm, is going to provide at least $100 million worth of legal services to the Trump administration to battle these activist judges. And this is, they're doing this pro bono, that they estimate that they could be delivering at least $100 million worth of services to fight off this insane activist judiciary that we have right now.
They're billing out at $10,000 an hour.
Right.
Like, what does that even look like? Right. It's like,
I know.
I mean, listen, it's great. I appreciate that. I'm sure he appreciates that too, but lawyers, man.
Gosh, they are. I mean, and it's not even just in the United States. We've talked about how it's getting bad all over the world. I mean, we saw what happened with Marine Le Pen. It's crazy.
Right.
Yeah. Judges and lawyers right now are out of control.
Yeah.
Out of control. There's also a lot of talk right now about Elon's leaving. Oh my gosh, Elon's leaving DOGE. And people are acting like it's this huge, unbelievable, gossipy story. It's not. He's considered a special government employee who is only allowed to be a special government employee for 130 days. And he even said in his interview with Bret Baier, what was that, last week, that in May, his time is going to be up And so he'll be going back to his businesses. The work of the DOGE team will continue, but without him. And so people are acting like it's this humongous news story. But as he and the White House pointed out yesterday, it's just garbage. It's not scoop. Politico tried to position it like, oh my God, we have the skinny on Elon Musk being forced out, which is just nonsense. And Caroline Leavitt said as much. She said the scoop is garbage. Elon Musk and Trump have both publicly stated that Elon will depart from public service as a special government employee when his incredible work at DOGE is complete. So calm down, everybody.
They will do everything to kind of to split these guys up,
right?
To try to pin them against each other. They just want drama. They just want it.
They
so
really
badly.
do. It's just out. It's so over the top. And at this point, you would think that they would start to realize that we're on to them. You know what I mean?
Just
like
stop
we're not
it.
falling for this.
Stop trying to make everybody in the administration hate one another. It's not going to happen. You know, it's like them trying to make us hate one another.
Right.
I remember when we were on the radio, like the powers that be wanted us to fight you guys. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Remember? Because it's good for ratings.
Yeah.
And we were like,
better radio to have drama.
Right. And we were always like, we're not going to do that. Like, we can't do that. We'll fight
we can't
if we want to
fake
fight.
Being right. But we can't fake being mad at each other.
No, we're not going to do it. And so just stop all of it. Just stop it.
Just stop for real. People, what they need to be paying more attention to is things like this. Democrats, the DNC and Hakeem Jeffries, Chuck Schumer, filed a lawsuit against President Trump to stop his EO banning non-citizens from voting. God. Why would they do that?
Yeah,
you should be asking that question.
I think we know.
Right? I mean, this is just crazy that anybody looks at them and thinks, yeah, those are some high integrity, good policy individuals right there. I want to align with Democrats.
So effing illegal.
Right? I just can't. I know.
It's like you got to cheat. You got to cheat to get people in office. Okay.
And then, of course, when they can't cheat, then they go and figure out how do they use the courts to help them cheat.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It's incredible.
It's a freaking criminals, man.
Speaking of illegal immigration, Tom Homan announced that from January 20th to April 1st, 9 illegal aliens were released into the U.S. 9. Under that same time period in Biden's last year, that number was 184,241.
I feel like that's a little bit different. Yeah, I feel like it's a little different. But the president doesn't matter. The president can't do anything, you guys. Can't do anything. It takes an act of Congress.
It takes an act of Congress,
right? It does. It takes an act of Congress. Bullshit. I call bullshit on that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And now, thankfully, even though the Supreme Court election didn't go the way we wanted in Wisconsin, we did get voter ID, and that will hopefully make a huge difference. Kamala released the most cringe video to the Wisconsin people. And every time I see her now, I just cannot believe how close we were to having her lead the free world.
Oh my God.
It's terrifying, you guys, how close we were. Terrifying. Because just watch the level of condescension and just the way that she talks to everybody like we're all 5. It's so off-putting. Here is Kamala.
Hi, Wisconsin, to all of you. I just wanted to pop by to say thank you.
She's popping by.
You all are just extraordinary. You love our country. You care. You are making such extraordinary sacrifices on behalf of so many people, on behalf of communities, on behalf of people you may never meet. And I just say thank you.
Why does she talk that way?
She's reading from a script.
Hi, Wisconsin.
Yeah. Scotch. She is drunk, you guys. Drunk.
Oh my gosh. Just yikes. Man, did we ever dodge a bullet.
Oh my God. Yes.
For those folks who may have been wondering recently, you probably weren't, but I'm going to tell you anyway, what had happened to that case, that criminal case against Mayor Adams in New York. It was just dismissed. So that is over. It's quite likely that he's going to be running for re-election. And so we will watch that and
Okay.
see what happens there.
All right.
And then also earlier this week, we talked about the story about this proxy vote, right? Like I can't remember the name of the representative on the Democrat side, Peterson maybe, who just had a baby. And so she was sort of the poster child for wanting to be able to vote from home or vote by proxy, even though that's never, ever, ever been allowed. And Sean Duffy, Transportation Secretary Duffy's daughter, who is also an influencer in her own right, posted about this whole proxy vote thing. And I just love what she said about her dad. She said, when my baby sister was born with 2 holes in her heart and needed a very risky surgery, my father, Secretary Duffy, knew he needed to be at home with his newborn daughter, my mom, and my 8 siblings. So my dad resigned. This was when he was in Congress. What he did not do was demand an unconstitutional exception that would allow him to vote remotely. He viewed his job in Congress as a responsibility and a privilege, not an entitlement. If you're unable to fulfill the duties required of a member of Congress because you're the parent of a small child, feel free to resign. Many have before.
Yes.
Yes.
And I love that she's talking about a man.
Mm-hmm.
I love that it's a man, and not a woman.
Yep.
Yeah. Women. Did you see this? A man did that. A man did it. I mean, you can't get any better than the street. I love it.
Yeah,
so much.
I know. I loved it so much too. On the other hand, I don't know about y'all, but I have some mixed feelings when I see photographs of Kristi Noem out there in her big flak vest, just the same way that I do when I see Alina Habba doing it. So now she's U.S. Attorney in New Jersey, and she decided that she needed to be with the U.S. Marshals to carry off some gang member that they apprehended in New Jersey. And I don't know why we need to do this.
Why? I'm more concerned about the packages that aren't being delivered. Guy's an Amazon guy. Did you see that? Like, where is my package? But second, you're right. Why is a lawyer? She's a lawyer, right? She's in a bulletproof vest. What are we doing? We don't need this. This is making it about her. Okay. This has nothing to do with full makeup and hair. And it's like, it's very cosplayish. You know what I mean?
It just rubs me the wrong way. I don't like it.
No, I hear you. It's a little, listen, it's one thing for Kristi Noem did it once, but now they're doing it with her. And like, who's next? What are we doing? It looks so perfectly staged. Like,
I know. Honestly, I thought this was AI. When I first saw it, I was like, oh, why are people making this? This is ridiculous. And it's real. So this is just seeking attention. That's what this is about. And I don't like it. Dislike.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
Moving on. I know everybody in our audience, and you especially, would love to see karma happen to Dr. Fauci.
Oh my God.
Tiny little taste. I mean, it's not him going to jail, which would be ideal, but his wife has just been fired from the National Institutes of Health. And what makes this even more delicious is that this was a woman who is very outspoken about the fact that when people were being told that they had to get the vax or else lose their job, she said they had a choice.
They had a choice, you guys. Yeah.
I mean, oh my God, that just makes me so
she was given a choice yesterday. There's her choice.
She was. She said she was told, listen, we've got a spot for you at an office in Alaska, or we don't have a spot for you. So she had a choice.
How does it feel, Christine? How does it feel? How does it feel to have that choice on the receiving end? Now, listen, although she's not losing a business or a pension or anything like that, I'm sure she's not losing what a lot of people lost during the pandemic. I mean, they lost a hell of a lot more. She's an evil troll. And by the way, why do all these men marry women that look like men?
Well, notice the men that are doing it. They are very, very effeminate, right?
Like these are males. She's like a foot taller than him. And like, what is that? What is that?
I don't know what that is.
They're filling a void is what they're doing. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm just saying it's pretty obvious what's happening there. Yeah.
And if you haven't heard the video in which, and this is a flashback to when she was talking about how people had a choice when they were told they had to get the shot. Here is the video evidence of that.
And in the end, if people decide not to get vaccinated, that in the end is their choice. Even if they're a nurse, they may not be able to work in the facility that they've been working in, but they've made a choice on their own.
Unforgivable.
Seriously.
And her little troll of a beta husband needs to be in jail. That needs to happen.
I feel like we're inching closer to that.
Are
Maybe.
we?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm trying to be optimistic.
As close as we are to the Epstein files, it needs to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm angry. I'm angry, Marcus. God, I cannot stand that woman. I can't stand her. The smugness.
I know. And that's why this was even more delicious. The fact that they gave her a choice of Alaska or nothing. I mean,
what's wrong with Alaska, though? Honestly, Alaska's beautiful.
It's cold.
It's very cold, but still. I mean, if you've ever been to Alaska, it's a beautiful place. They should have just fired her.
Yeah.
In shame.
And ultimately, I think that's what they knew, that she wasn't going to go to Alaska.
Walked her ass out of there. Like, not even able to collect her belongings. Bye. Yeah, this is the thing, because this is what a lot of people this is what happened to a lot of people who were under her. You know what I mean? Like this, she was given a lot more courtesy than they were given.
Absolutely.
And so
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yesterday we played a clip, and I think it was Hot Luke that was like super mad about it. We played that clip of Senator Jim Banks, who was being followed by a federal employee who'd lost his job. Where was it? Was it with HHS? I think that he may have lost his job, and he was all mad, and he was chasing down Senator Banks to say, "What are you going to do about, these job losses?" And Senator Banks said, "You probably deserved it. You seem like a clown." And then the elevator shut with his just smirky face, and it was delicious, and we loved it.
Glorious.
Hot Luke did not like it. He was mad. He thought it was uncalled for.
Really?
And other people thought that too. And so Jake Tapper had Jim Banks on to ask him about it, and here is that interview.
About this exchange you had yesterday in the halls of the Senate, an exchange with a former federal employee from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services who approached you. The exchange went viral. So in a statement to CNN asked about it, you said, quote, "I have no sympathy for left-wing activists who have been let go from overpaid positions that should have never existed. I do have sympathy for the hardworking Hoosiers whose tax dollars have been wasted on bankrolling those positions," unquote. This former federal employee was on CNN a little bit earlier today. Listen to what he had to say.
I was just asking, what are you doing about the social services that are being cut, specifically for people with disabilities? And his response was just that I deserve to get fired. In response to the piece about left-wing activism, as a federal employee, much like all of other civil servants, I am nonpartisan.
Really?
Do you have any evidence that he's a left-wing activist? Do you have any idea of what kind of work he was doing at HHS?
Yeah, here's what I know, Jake. He's an instigator. He's in the hallways of the Senate office buildings every day, chasing down Republicans like me and cheering for Democrats who walk through the hallways. So it doesn't take a whole lot here to deduce from that he is a left-wing activist. And what I have no tolerance for is anyone who believes they are entitled to a taxpayer-funded job. In this case, we know that he made between somewhere $85,000 to $100,000 a year for a job that he can't even explain.
Yeah, usually when somebody tells you they're nonpartisan, about 95% of the time they're a Democrat. Because if somebody's on the right, they're going to say, "Yeah, I'm a conservative."
Right.
That's what I am. I'm proud of it. So there's that. Yeah. And then if somebody's bitching and moaning because they lost their job as a civil servant and they're not out there actually looking for a job, but they're bitching and complaining and moaning about it on CNN or wherever, they're probably a liberal. I mean, it's probably a liberal person, because I can't imagine a conservative doing that. A conservative would be out there pulling themselves up by the bootstraps and going and finding another job.
Right. Not being all, wow, what are you going to do about my specific job loss?
Right.
I'm a civil servant.
You know how many people that happened to during COVID? You know how many people that happens to on a daily basis in the private sector? We don't go bitch and moan about it to the people that laid us off. That's not how it works.
No,
Oh
it is
God.
definitely not.
Get a clue.
Definitely
dude.
not. Do you guys remember the former HHS Secretary Becerra, and what speaking of clowns, what an absolute clown he was? he has plans.
Oh.
Here they are.
Serra, and you may have heard, I am running to be governor of our great state of California.
California's got some doozies running, man.
Fun, guys. It's gonna be really, really fun, isn't it?
So are we going to see him on a debate stage with Kamala? Like, is that going to happen?
Yeah, I think so. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
I was just going to say he and Kamala, and that will be like, it's just like, I was going to say war of the minds, but it's not. It's not. It's like two toddlers. I can't.
Oh, California, man.
No, you are effed.
You are so effed for real. You know who I forgot existed, but I was happy to find out continues to exist? Shirley Jones, Mrs. Partridge, you guys.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. And I forgot, excuse me, that she is Sean Cassidy and David Cassidy's mom in actual life.
Oh my gosh, twice. I used to tell me you did not love Sean Cassidy.
Oh my, that was my first concert. Hello.
Of course it was. Of course it was your first concert. Mine was like the Beastie Boys. Hers was Sean Cassidy. This is everything you need to know about us, you guys.
I was like 7 or 8 or something, and I loved him.
Of course.
Oh my God, I loved him.
Yes.
I had plastered all over my walls.
And the hair with the feathers.
Oh, the feathering. Oh my God, he was so cute. To do run, you guys.
Run. That's right.
He met her on a Monday and his heart stood still. I wanted to be her so bad when I was little.
Gosh, you guys.
Anyway, my point in telling you that is that Shirley Jones just turned 91.
No.
And yes. And even back in the day, she on the Partridge Family, she always reminded me of my mom. I don't even think my mom knows this, but the way that she looks with her short hair and there's just something about her that looks like my mom.
Her fresh, beautiful face.
Yes. And so I saw Sean Cassidy, who of course I follow on Twitter.
Why am I not shocked?
He posted a happy birthday photo of his mom with her little birthday cake.
Oh my God.
And she continues to look like my mom. Like they look so amazing for their age.
I have to see her right now.
You guys.
See the picture. Oh my God. Oh my God. She does look like your mom.
91.
She's like her doppelganger. She is gorgeous at 91.
I mean, I just cannot get over it. I
can't either. Your mother doesn't age either.
She just won't.
And Mock won't. Mock won't age. I will look like the crypt keeper at like 70, and Mock will look like this, just so everybody's aware. It's just already know it, okay? Because we're still going to be doing this.
Yeah,
and
we will.
I will literally be melting like the crypt keeper, and Mock will look like this,
so
all
fake
smiley.
news.
Seriously.
This is fake news. But
It's
I mean,
true.
Isn't this the cutest thing you ever saw?
Adorable. Absolutely.
91.
She looks exactly the same. She's not.
It's incredible.
It's not even like that MFer is not real. Like it's just it's not even it's Polish genetics. It is. I feel she must
wait,
have
is Shirley Jones Polish?
She must be. She has to be. I feel like
she have to look into her.
I feel like she has to be. I feel like this is a Polish thing. Because you guys just do not age. Yeah. Crazy.
Anyway, I just had to share it because I thought that is just look at that. Look at her go.
No, right?
Incredible.
Amazing.
All right. There is some continued talk about Cory Booker's marathon record-breaking rant that he did for absolutely no discernible reason the other day. And, just to give an example, there's like these tweets from Senator Tina Smith, who's obnoxious as all get out. She said, the number one topic for calls to my office today, Cory Booker's floor speech. So yeah, I'd say people are listening to him. David Hogg. Cory Booker is a legend, he said.
Booker is a legend. Okay. All right, Harvard.
But no one is talking about Cory Booker's speech more than Cory Booker. He cannot stop talking about it. And now that there is attention on him, he's releasing these new selfie videos where his face is uncomfortably close to the screen.
Yes.
And he wants you all to know what leadership looks like. Here's Cory.
Cannot wait.
So here's perhaps one of the greatest leadership lessons there is, that real leaders don't lecture you on how great.
Pause, because he just lectured at us for 25 straight hours.
Right.
So the fact that he even started a video that way, absurd. Absurd. Continue.
Great they are. They remind you how great we are.
There's
how
Obama.
Great we can be together. Real leaders don't spend all their time pointing fingers of blame. They remind us that we share collective responsibility to make things better. Real leaders don't stand up and say, only I can lead you, follow me. Real leaders remind us that we are the leaders that we need. We are a nation that's great not because of someone who held the Oval Office. We have had great ones. But we are here because of all those leaders who reminded us of our responsibility, our capability, who reminded us that the power of the people is greater than the people in power. They were labor leaders. They were suffrage leaders. They were civil rights leaders who didn't just speak truth to power. They spoke truth to us. This is a moment that we need real leadership to remind us that this is our nation, that we can heal, that we can help, and most of all, in times like this, that we must all lead out of the darkness.
Theater. It's theater. Did you notice in that video that Biden and Kamala were nowhere to be found in that video?
Interesting.
Yeah, I guess they're not good leaders. I guess they're not good leaders. Is he still talking? Seriously, he should be working.
Can't stop.
He's like he's in a gym somewhere. Shouldn't that guy be working and earning his money?
Well, he's working to become the next president. He wants his face out there. Mark my words, he's doing this again. Just get ready. We're going to see a lot more of him.
Never work.
Now, he is being asked the question because I was under the assumption that he was either in a diaper, he was cathed, that he even got breaks maybe while other people were doing their little question times, giving him speaking breaks. He apparently did not need to use the restroom for that entire almost 25 hours. So reporters caught up with him yesterday to ask him how in the world did he do that. Here's what he said.
Anything that allowed you to not have to go to the bathroom for 25 hours?
I don't want the Senate doctor to get mad at me. I don't want my doctor to get mad at me. But I really spent time dehydrating myself beforehand, so I did not have to go to the bathroom.
He spent time dehydrating himself. Okay. And then he also admitted, apparently, that what's today? Today is today Thursday?
It's Thursday. Thursday, the 3rd of April. Yeah.
And he started his speech
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Tuesday.
He claims, and I just don't know how.
On April Fool's Day. Right.
Yeah. He claims that he started not eating on Friday.
So he fasted Friday, Saturday, Sunday,
Monday. And he's going to tell,
and then
there's just no way.
He fasted for 4 days and then he deprived himself of liquids for a day. Okay.
That is ridiculous. Oh my God. Especially because it wasn't even a filibuster. You know what I mean?
It's just so stupid.
I don't believe it. There's just no way. There's no way. Nope. I just don't believe it.
No,
just not buying it. Not buying it. Interesting thing happened outside of the Department of Education yesterday, and that is that a group of Democrats got together to, I guess, rally or speak to people that were there to see them. I don't know, but Democrats got together right outside the Department of Ed to talk about how mad they are that the Department of Ed is slated to shut down. And Linda McMahon decided to show up, and she made the person, I can't remember the name of this chick that is speaking, the Democrat. Do you remember who held up the sign that said this isn't normal at the State of the Union?
No one cares about her.
She's the one at the podium. And so she sees out of the corner of her eye that Linda McMahon is standing at the side. And so you can tell that she's immediately uncomfortable, but she actually gives Linda the floor, gives her the podium. And Linda's just we just need to shut this down. So
I just love
the fact that this happened was just glorious. Check it out.
A corporate model without a plan and without an effort to really protect our students. So we want to be clear about that. I want to say one other thing. The mood in the room, it was very collegial. We are extraordinarily grateful to the Secretary that she joined us. Thank you. She's here. Perhaps I should give her the podium. We're extraordinarily grateful that the Secretary gave us the space to have these conversations. But with all due respect, Madam, I think my biggest concern is that the states will not be able to protect the programs and services that you would like to devolve with them.
I'm coming right up. Here I
Morning,
come.
everyone. Thanks so much for coming. And I just want to express my gratitude to all of these folks who came today so that we could have an open discussion about what I believe is one of the most important things that we can have a discussion on or action on in our country, and that is the education of our young people. And I believe, and I know the president does believe this as well, the best education is that is closest to the child, where teachers and parents, local superintendents working together, and local school boards to develop the curriculum for those students is the best way that it can happen.
Yeah. You know, I love
everything about that.
You know, I love confrontation. So she's one of my new favorite people. She is like she is in the top 3 now of my favorite people. I freaking love this. The left cannot meme and the left cannot troll. We are masters at trolling now. Like, this is what we're so good at. The right is really good at this. We're like, oh, you're going to say stuff about like what I'm really good at talking about. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to confront you on it. Like, we're becoming really, really good at that.
It's pretty fun to watch.
And I am there for it. I love confrontation. Love it.
It's good stuff, man.
Yes.
And you're probably starting to hear a lot of news. There's news shows talking about this. You're seeing it on social media. A lot of people refuting some of the findings that DOGE is discovering in terms of Social Security and dead people being on the rolls and so on. People are trying to say that that's not true. And it just is. It just is true. There's a lot of evidence of it. One of the DOGE volunteers, who is the CEO of a company named Valor, was on with Steve Doocy talking about what they found on the Social Security rolls. And this is infuriating. And it is interesting timing, considering that we just talked about the fact that Democrats are suing Trump over not being able to keep non-citizens on voter rolls. It's because all of this is being brought to light. Case in point.
It made my jaw drop too when I saw it. We were in Social Security looking for fraud, waste, and abuse. And to do that, we actually looked at the enumeration system, the system by which people get numbers in America. And we found that there were just about 5+ million of them that came to the country as illegals, were giving various forms of parole or allowed in the country, and then got through an automatic system, Social Security numbers, to get into our benefit systems. And we tracked that through and found that they were on the benefit programs. And just because we were curious, we then looked to see if they were on the voter rolls. And we found in a handful of cooperative states that there were thousands of them on the voter rolls, and that many of them had voted.
Oh my God.
5 is not okay. 5 of them is not okay. But 5 million? Oh my God. And I actually saw a guy on Twitter say yesterday, he's like, they get Social Security numbers so they can pay taxes because they want to contribute to the system. He said that. He actually believes that in his tiny little brain. He believes that. They just want to pay into the system. They don't want to take anything. They just want to give. They just want to give, you guys. And I'm like, oh my, like, these people have Stockholm syndrome so bad. They want to believe that the people who broke into the country, who broke the law to get here, are actually going to follow some sort of laws once they actually broke the law to get in here. Are you? I want to say so many words. There's so many. Don't say it, Daisy. Don't say it. Like,
there's so many words.
They have problems in their brains. Like, they just will not accept the fact that these people are criminals. They are criminals. I'm sorry. Some of them may be actually nice people. I get it. But they broke the law. And then there are those of us who actually are in here and we have paid into the system since we were freaking 13 years old. And we may not get Social Security because of these people who have broken the law.
It's not okay.
No.
Nope. And I know you want to say all the words. That is definitely the vibe that I got from Martha MacCallum too when she had Senator Coons on yesterday. Oh my God, you guys. They had a fight over this very issue, the Social Security issue, because like all other Democrats, they're just trying to be like, la, 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 it's not happening. This evidence is fake or whatever they're trying to do to convince themselves that it's not happening. So she was like, how they had, I'm not kidding you, an almost 6-minute fight. And I was listening to it in real time when I was driving to physical therapy yesterday. And I was like, oh my God, I got to grab some pieces of this for the show. So obviously we're not going to play the entire thing, but you can just see the exasperation. She rolls her eyes. She is like this part of the time. She tries so hard to tell him what's what. It was extraordinary. Watch.
I'm amazed by, so you're saying that I'm assuming that there's waste, fraud, and abuse. And I think it's equally surprising that you are assuming that the government is functioning in an efficient way. When we all know...
That's not what I said. That's not what I said.
Well, then what has...
Martha, there are inspector generals in every single agency that are there to find waste, fraud, and abuse.
They've done a fantastic bang-up job. I mean, when you look at the number...
And to start the administration by firing all of them does not suggest a deep interest in listening to these career, nonpartisan inspectors general about waste.
No, you can't just like put your fingers in your ear and go, blah, blah, blah. Like it's not happening. We all know
that's not at all what I'm doing, Martha.
Let
me repeat the point.
And these people...
Elon Musk says that Social Security is a Ponzi scheme, and this president has fired the relevant inspectors general, who are the people most capable, not a bunch of 20-year-old software engineers with no previous government experience.
People, did you watch this interview, Senator? Did you watch the interview? Did you watch this?
Shut up, dude.
Did you watch the interview?
Which interview? I don't know what you're talking about.
The one I just
you are yelling so much.
No, I can't, because I can't get a word in edgewise. I'm trying to ask you a question. That's my job. So
you go right ahead.
There was an excellent panel on Special Report. These are not 25-year-old, whatever people have been calling them. They're very seasoned executives who have made a lot of money and run good businesses efficiently, where they only use the number of people to get the job done that they needed. They gave up their livelihood and they left their families and they came to Washington to try to give their expertise to some of these agencies that are so sclerotic and wasteful that they are not able to function. So, okay, it would be great if both sides of this, because when I remember there being an active interest by Democrats in saying, you know what, we know that there's a lot of waste in our government. Now you're telling me there isn't.
I would be using curse words. I would have been fired. I would have been. In that instance, they would have escorted me off the set because I would have told them to shut the F up and I would have used the word. I cannot deal with that. He was speaking over her because he didn't want to hear what she had to say. That was the only reason why he was speaking over her. He was like, la, 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 la. That's what he was doing.
But I mean, she kept on him, man. I love her. She's so good at her job.
I feel like you actually remind me of her. It's more more so than Elizabeth Shue. I've always thought that you look like Martha MacCallum. I've always thought that.
Such a compliment, and I don't see it
at
all.
I totally think Mock looks like her. But seriously, I don't know how she keeps her cool in those situations, because I just would be like, this is not an interview. This is you being a toddler, and my child never acted like that.
Yeah,
never.
He's awful. He is one of the worst.
God. These people. Yeah.
There were lots of fights on TV yesterday. There was a fight also that happened between Ted Cruz and Amy Klobuchar, and it was in some small committee meeting, and she was speaking and then he interrupted her, which I guess is fairly common in this committee, that they have these debates, whatever. But Ashley Moody is now the chair of this particular committee, and she's fairly new. Who you may recall that she's pretty new. And so she was like trying to do the chair job, which is to keep people to their little 5-minute allotment of time and not allow this sort of back and forth. And it got a little heated, and I just thought it was funny and wanted to share. Behold.
Way, not how he's doing it. And the only reason there's all these injunctions, Senator Cruz, is because he's violating the Constitution. Why would Trump-appointed judges...
Why don't you file them in red districts?
Senator Cruz. Why What did you just say?
Why don't you file them in red districts?
Point
Why
of
are the
order.
Democrat Attorney
Senator Cruz.
General seeking out
Senator Cruz,
left-wing
my
blue
esteemed colleague.
Patient with
One
Senator
second.
Cruz's activity
Yeah.
in this building.
Senator Whitehouse.
He's entitled to.
I'm just going to ask for a point of order. Madam Klobuchar, Senator Klobuchar.
Senator Moody, we have debates on this committee. They occur regularly.
Let's let her have her time, and then we'll get back to that. If you want to wait, we'll get back to Senator Cruz.
She's welcome
Senator
to answer the question or
Go
not.
ahead.
It's her choice.
Go ahead. I'm so and I would excited encourage to you be to answer. following Senator Cruz once again.
Excuse me?
But I will say Excuse me? I didn't hear you. What did you say?
To be following him. He and I have a.
I was permitting you your time to continue. To be following him in order. Excuse me. Go ahead, Senator Klobuchar. During hearing. Go ahead, That's Senator what I'm Klobuchar. referring to. Go ahead.
And I will take more than my time since he's taken more than his time to yell at me.
Go
So
ahead.
what I will
Mark the
say
time.
is that
I'm not yelling. I asked a question.
Senator Cruz, please, I'll give you time.
To be fair, he wasn't yelling. He really was asking a question. If you
I mean,
can't
I think
handle
that they
again,
just do that in that
right.
room, and he's used to it, and she's
Just-
probably used to it. And Ashley was like, "Everybody stop!"
Right. You going to start crying, Amy? Seriously, if you can't handle that, then also step down. Like, quit being a baby. God, these
He's
women,
yelling at me.
These women, I, that's the thing. Like, women who pull that card, like, he's yelling at. Maybe you shouldn't do that job then, because I
Right.
assure you, there are other women that could handle that, or men that can.
Mhm.
So,
Can you
if
imagine
can't-
another male senator saying, "Well, I'm going to take all my time because he's yelling at me"?
Never.
That would never happen.
Never. So
Never.
quit whining like a girl.
Yep.
Good Lord.
When we talked to our very, very, very best friend Scott Jennings,
We are fans.
Jennings. When we talked to him, and if you haven't watched that interview yet, what are you doing? You should be watching that like on repeat, on a loop, continuously.
It's true.
One of the things that we asked him was whether Abby was mad because he gets so much of the attention, and he is, for all intents and purposes, the reason for their good ratings.
He is like
And
the beauty queen on that show.
He is.
overshadows her. Yeah.
Totally. And, you know, he was very, very kind about most of his fellow panelists. There were some exceptions. But one of the people that he was super kind about was Abby herself, because he talked, and you can watch the interview to find out why, but he said very kind things about Abby. He also talked about how important it is for people, no matter which side of the aisle they're on, to debate it with fairness. How did he put it? In good faith, to debate in good faith. And that is something that Abby Phillips decidedly did not do the other night. And Scott Walker, who I also love, was on this panel, and she literally made things up that he had to fact check her on in real time. And I'm so glad he did it. But this was not arguing in good faith at all. Here it is.
Talked about cutting Medicaid, Social Security through DOGE, bringing those issues up.
Actually, he never talked. He explicitly said in Green Bay that he would not cut Social Security.
Well,
That's exactly what he said.
Talked at his rallies.
No, other people said about that, but I was there. I watched him.
Okay.
He did not say he was
All
going to
right,
cut Medicaid.
Other people at his rallies who work for DOGE, who work for Elon Musk's organization, talked about those issues.
No, I was at the rally. Not a one of them
there-
said that.
do you
That's
think that
what
there are
protesters
risks?
said, but nobody there actually said
Do you think that there are risks here?
There are.
for
People believe
Republicans
the lies that
in
people are
those
saying
issues
about that.
being
But that's
associated?
not at all
My
what they
God.
said. If people believe that Medicaid and Medicare is going to be touched, that's just a outright lie. What he talked about are people who are over 120 years old, who clearly are not alive.
Well, the reason I brought it
getting
up is
Social Security or Medicaid.
Okay, well,
that's
let's
totally wrong. I think
just to
Democrats
sort
even
just to
believe
sort
that.
this out. The reason I brought this up is because the claim here is that there's massive, widespread fraud, and that's all they're addressing. That's obviously a disputed claim because it's not true that 120-year-old people are getting Social Security checks. The checks stop at a certain point automatically because those checks are checks and
But those
balances
Social
are
Security
already in
numbers
place.
get counted for various parts of the federal government. So they don't get a benefit directly to those people, but they count for money that gets allocated to different departments in their budget. And they shouldn't be. If somebody's no longer alive, they shouldn't be able to count that
I
as
guess
an
my
allocation.
fundamental question.
Oh yeah. The reason that she brought it up is because all you have left now is lies, rage, and fear mongering.
Yep.
That's why you brought it up. God bless you, Abby. Oh my God, there's a dog coming in here. I'm sorry. sorry, you guys. It was so nice to see aggressively normal Scott Walker in that clip, though.
I know, wasn't it?
Because I haven't seen him in forever, and I've been wondering, like, what is he doing? And we really like Scott. I really like Scott. I'm sorry.
He's also one of our BFFs. I mean, I don't think he remembers that, but when he came to our radio station, we had him on in person.
Yes.
We loved him, and I think he really liked us. Like, we had such a great time with him.
Too. And he hasn't changed.
He's still aggressively normal.
I'm sorry, Coda's squeaking. I need to get him out of here. Stop squeaking. You can't do that while I'm on the air. Get him out of here. Hold on. Okay, just keep talking. I'll get him out.
Well, the next clip that we were going to play is just about Jasmine. We're going to get through it really quick, I promise. Okay. So Jasmine has decided to admit openly that she herself is a DEI hire. And I thought this was absolutely hilarious. Check it out.
Because you've been gracious. Is this. When I first became a public defender, I had no criminal defense experience. And I walked in and I told my boss, Charlie, I said, listen, you should hire me. He said, why? I said, because I'm Black.
Okay.
Thank you then. Thank you for just admitting it out loud.
Right. Because I'm Black. Isn't that what you did in your first job? You were like, you should hire me because I'm a woman. I didn't do that. Did you do that?
Said it out loud,
did
you guys.
Do that in your first job? Because I did not do that. I was like, hire me because I'm qualified for this job and I will work my butt off every single day. That's what I did. Things have changed, haven't they?
Oh yeah, they have. And the fact that they're just they are shameless about it. Right. Absolutely shameless. And then in the very next breath, she will accuse Trump supporters of being racist.
There's nothing that I could ever say or do that would make MAGA be like, that's our girl, right? Because, like, first of all, ton of racist. So never happening, right?
All right.
Well,
never happening.
We don't like to hang out with racists and people who base everything on the melanin content in their skin. That's not what we do.
So no, you're not going to be our girl, Jasmine.
No.
Psychopath. I love like the kind of man on the street interviews or the confrontations that happen at various protests where the logic or lack thereof that liberals use or the left uses to try to make a point is shoved right back in their faces and they have to just run because they have no other option. That's exactly what happened with this confrontation that you guys will so enjoy with someone who is fighting on behalf of trans rights because their sister is trans. And this is just this is so fun.
Sister is trans, and she, it's like when someone's like talking about something that directly affects you and they have no skin in the game. None, nada, zero. Like, you know, it's different.
How do you feel about Israel and Palestine?
I mean, I don't think the genocide in Gaza is good.
Do you have skin in the game?
Well, like, that's like a little bit of a different issue, though.
Oh, is it?
Like, we're talking about like the health.
No, but I'm just trying to make the point here. So you're upset. You're
about a foreign war, and I'm talking about people's health care.
I'm talking about people's lives. So my mother lives in Israel. My sister, my brother. You have a really strong opinion about Israel. I'm applying your same argument back at you. You don't know what you're talking about. You've got no skin in the game. And
I'm okay.
I gotta go. I gotta go.
You see
now,
how that
bye.
works? Funny how her logic only applies to a political foes.
Yeah,
imagine my shock.
Yeah, it's so interesting how that works when she's like, gotta go, bye.
I've lost this. I've clearly lost this and I'm done now.
Shocker.
Here's something that is kind of a shocker, and that is that Tim Walz has directed all government state employees to get back to work in the office at least half time, 50% of the time by June 1st. He expects everyone to be back in the office. And this is a sharp departure because ever since COVID, all these state employees have been working at home 100% of the time. And now he's just asking, listen, can you split the time half and half? And they are so mad. And it just cracks me up. They're admitting some of the reasons that really people shouldn't be able to work at home when they have kids.
Damn right.
Because they're like, well, I can't watch my kid or I have health problems.
God.
What?
Right. Uh-huh.
It's expensive to get childcare. Oh my God.
We did it.
Right.
Yeah.
Here are some of the people that are bitching again without shame.
On Tuesday, issued an order to his agency commissioners to change the telework policy to require everybody to be back in the office 50% of the time by June 1st. And we've been working from home. We have flexible schedules. We've been doing our work more productively since the pandemic, so for the last 5 years.
Right.
And as far as we can tell, he didn't include anybody in that decision making, not legislators, not agency commissioners, not the unions, nobody.
He just kind of pulled this out of the blue. We were promised that we were going to be working from home for forever. Some of us have health issues that we have to deal with in addition to taking care of our kids.
This seems to make a lot of people's lives a lot more complicated and stressful than it really needs to be. Speaking like for the rest of our coworkers as well as families, there's just a huge shortage of childcare in Minnesota, and beyond that, it's very expensive.
I cannot believe they say this shit out
work,
loud.
You can work or you can take care of your kids. You can't do both. Plus, she looked healthy enough to protest. I don't know what kind of health problems she has. You know, when I was working full time, I remember working with people that had terminal cancer and they came into the office every day. So these people, man, they are they're so spoiled. They are entitled. They're ungrateful. Enough with this. I have no time for this garbage. I have no time.
And I know it's just half time. He's asking for half time to be in the office.
People will get so mad at us for this. Like, this is a hot topic with people because they have gotten so entitled over the past however many. It's been 5 years, and I think it's been a little bit more than that too. But we are, I guess maybe I'm just old school. I'm old school because we did it for 25 something years. We did it where we went into an office. We wore the pantyhose. We did the things. We paid our dues. And you know what? It wasn't so terrible. It wasn't.
No, and I do think companies function a lot better when people are there to create a company culture. You can't have a culture without people actually together.
I agree. You know, maybe part of it, I have a little bit of a soft spot. I met you at a company. I've a lot of relationships that I have with people were like, I guess, created in company atmospheres where I went into a company I walked into an office building every single day. It is called work. Like, you develop teams. It's not like on a screen. It was a different kind of culture, but man, people are acting as if, you know, well, I have to be able to watch my kids. We got daycare.
Right. Right. And if you're watching your kids, you're not engaged 100% in your job. You're just not. There's no way.
You're not. It's just, I have a lot of thoughts about this. And so I know people are going to disagree. We're going to get emails. They're going to get really mad about this. But, you know, if everybody has health issues. Everybody.
My take from that wasn't that they were even her health issues. I wonder if she has health issues of a family member that she feels that she needs to be taken care of during a work day, which is a problem.
Right. And who doesn't have those issues? Everybody has them. But we would go into a job and we would deal with it. And we all have those responsibilities. We've had them for decades, for eons. So it's a crazy, crazy sense of entitlement that people have taken on. I don't understand it. I just don't.
Yeah, it is weird, especially for people who are new to jobs. You know, if maybe they got their job during COVID and they just thought, like that chick, this is just how it's going to be forever. I mean, you shouldn't make that assumption. You shouldn't. So before we get to talks, here is a voice of reason to sort of just bleach all that other Jasmine stuff and the Walz, people that are mad at Walz, out of your system. Here's somebody making some actual sense.
You have to be convinced that I've lost rights as a woman because of Donald Trump. Then hear me out. Perhaps I haven't lost any rights. I know, groundbreaking. And the same people who are telling me, yes, Olivia, you have lost rights as a woman, are the same people who told me, don't vote against DEI. DEI is good for women. DEI is what helps women succeed. DEI is anti-woman, it's anti-America, and it's quite literally racist. DEI got me failed on a college course for saying that men don't belong in women's sports, and for saying that men are in fact different than women. DEI also forced me to pay $1,700 for said course in gender studies as a chemistry major.
Oh my
God.
God.
As someone who was a chemistry major in college, a scholarship I could have applied for was the Women in STEM scholarship, which is, by the way, for women. But those scholarships are being given to men in dresses who identify as women under the guise of social justice and inclusivity to reach DEI quotas. So tell me, how is that helping women? How is that pro-woman? And what rights have I lost? Like, I'm actually waiting. And I know they're all going to say, well, it's the right to abortion, the right to kill a child. I have morals, so that's not something I'm worried about.
Right. Amen to that.
Amen to all of that.
She's awesome.
Yeah, I loved her. All right, getting to some MyPillow Toks. We've talked about just crazy plastic surgery before and how just don't F with yourself.
Don't do it.
I don't know if this is this is a very popular influencer of some sort who, like, from here to like about here seems to be a normal shape. Okay. But then all of a sudden it just becomes
Kardashianified.
It's like if you took all the Kardashians
And put them together.
and put them on this girl, this is what you would have. And she's mad because car manufacturers are not making seats in their fancy, because she makes a lot of money off of TikTok or whatever.
Of course she does. Right.
When she wants to get, say, like a Lamborghini or whatever, the seats are too small for her gigantic ass. And I don't know if this is real or not, because it's jiggly. So I can't really tell.
It's
but
not
this
real.
is not, it can't be real, right? Like, this does not occur in the natural world.
No, it is surgically altered. It doesn't occur in the natural world. This is surgically altered, Ma.
Okay, get ready. Brace yourselves if you've never seen her before.
Sit down, you guys.
Here she is.
Right, with your real butt.
Can't believe everything's getting smaller these days. Today I saw the car of my dreams, a McLaren. So I decided I was gonna give it a test drive. I am so tired of spending money on Uber XL that I really wanted to buy my first car. It was love at first sight, but I think it wasn't mutual. This beautiful car broke my heart because whoever designed it doesn't have in mind a big girl driving it. The seats were too small and it was too difficult to get in.
Oh my God.
I tried to close the door, and as you can see, it cannot close correctly. How can a big girl like me drive this? It's 2025. All brands should be more inclusive to plus-size girls like me. And I won't lose my course because some people don't like big girls, okay? What type of car would you get if you were me?
She's not plus sized. She's not.
That's not what you call that.
That's not plus size. It's surgically altered. She has a gigantic ass. Yeah, that's not.
I mean, I guess that's how she makes her living. So
yeah,
congrats. But you don't get the nice cars.
No.
You're gonna have to get like a giant SUV.
Yeah, just get something specially made for you, or just ride in, or have somebody drive you around, and you could be in the bed of the truck. Right?
I just demanding companies accommodate that is so absurd on every level. I just wow.
Stupid.
All right, moving on. This is either going to enrage people or make them laugh. I am who I am, so it makes me laugh. Okay, because it's a prank. And
somebody
so
tell
this,
Sylvia. Somebody tell Sylvia that she's laughing again. Yeah.
So this is one. I would never go on this ride, but you've seen the rides where it's like you and your person, whoever you're riding with, you sit in the seat and then you just drop.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
I
My
would
daughter
never.
loves this stuff.
Are you serious?
Gwen loves rides like this. She just loves rides in general. She loves all this stuff. I know.
Does Greg go with her?
She'll go with her friends. Like if she goes to, like the Busch Gardens and the Six Flags and stuff like that, she'll go with her friends. I mean, we have historically gone on rides with her, but oh God, I just don't like
the dropping. No, I would absolutely never.
I used to like it, but I can't. Yeah.
This is the operator of said ride. And this is how he pranks all of his ridees.
I'm with the gate. I gotta fix it. Hold on. Push this button up. Oh, shoot, that was the wrong one. Guys, I always keep forgetting them shoulder straps. Hold on, I gotta put them on real quick. Got him. Showing red malfunction on the brakes. Hold on. I gotta get it.
Oh my God.
Got him. Hey. Alright. Alright.
That would be Gwen.
Hold on, it's showing red on your seatbelt, so I gotta come check it.
Oh my God. It's so
Got him. Say hi to all my TikTok fans.
Come do it. Don't be scared.
Yeah. Don't be scared.
They're saying there's something wrong with the seatbelt. Put your hands up real quick so I can get the seatbelt.
Just the meanest. That guy is the meanest.
Oh my God, I love that. I love it so much. Also, you know I love deer. There's deer everywhere here.
Yes.
Which I'm not allowed to feed unless I go to Fripp, in which case I feed them all the time. But I have never seen a deer hop through the street as this deer does. I love this so much.
Oh my gosh. He is so happy.
Isn't that amazing? Yes. I just loved him so much. Loved him.
He's adorable.
Now, if you are from Georgia, which you are,
Yes,
you remember back in the day how bad the pollen would get in the spring.
So much pollen. Yellow everywhere.
Yellow everywhere. And we've had it here too. It seems to have dissipated for the most part, but there was a lot of it a couple weeks ago. And it just blankets everything with this sheet of yellow powder.
It's true.
Apparently Georgia had like one of its worst pollen seasons on record, as you will see in this hysterical video. Look at that.
Oh my God. Get that dog out of there.
I mean, he was just running through the bushes, man.
Yeah. I know.
Yikes.
Myrtle Morgan's like, I just sneezed. Yeah, I know.
It doesn't bother me at all.
I used to just have the worst allergies in Georgia, and I'm getting them here in Texas, because we got cedar fever and stuff like that here.
Oh, cedar.
There's
like
bad
a
again
cedar
here.
thing.
Listen, you go to places where the climate is awesome, and there's always a payoff.
Yeah, for sure.
You gotta pay. You gotta pay the piper for living in a nice
It's
climate.
true.
You know what
It's
I mean?
true. Here, the thing is the no-see-ums is what they call those little sand gnats.
Yeah.
And they, oh my God, look at my hands. See the bites?
Oh my gosh, Mom.
Yeah, I get all these little bites, and I mean
That is nuts.
Now that it's starting to get a little more humid, they go away. But like in the nicest possible weather, when you want to be outside, that's when they come out.
That's what they get you. Yeah. In Indiana, I had no allergies whatsoever because it was just like gray and cold about 8 months of the year. Right. Then you move to Texas and it's like, geez. Right.
Okay, last montage of video is of more sleepy dogs. I know we've shown a montage of sleepy dogs before, but here are more of them. Dogs can sleep in absolutely any position, in absolutely any place, and here is proof.
Sleepy dog. Oh, no. He's pissed. God bless him. He looks like Theo. I love him. So dopey and sleepy. The greatest. Oh my God.
He just keeps right on sleeping.
I wish I could sleep that hard. I just want to sleep that hard, you guys.
I know. Look at how precious.
Look at his face.
Oh my God. I love them so much. Love them. All right. We do have thank yous from yesterday. We heard from Diana Logsden, who was talking about a talk from yesterday. She said, thanks for the doggy disasters. I was howling with laughter.
Love it.
So glad. And then a very, very generous one came from Linda Perry.
Linda.
I know. Who said, hey, spirit animals, thank you for me never being able to say Scott. Normal again. Caroline Levitt is from our small town here in Atkinson, New Hampshire, always destined to be great. Years ago, we were at small house parties to support her run for Congress. We're so proud here in New Hampshire of our spectacular press secretary.
I love that. Thank you,
Isn't
Linda.
that so nice?
Very sweet.
And then today on Venmo, let me make sure that I get everybody. Karen Marisco said 2 words for Sylvia: Tucker Carlson. Your giggles make my heart happy. It's a gift. Thank you. Marilyn Eyre said, good morning, beautiful chicks. Trump and Rand Paul need to have a come to Jesus. Take my money. Oh, and by the way, the Partridge Family is a jam, she says.
They are.
Yeah. And then Kathy Proctor says, Mock, get Skin So Soft from Avon for the no-see-ums. We do have a giant spray bottle of that. My husband uses it. If he knows he's going to be outside, he sprays down his legs, but it's got such a strong scent.
I love it.
You do love that scent?
Yeah, I love Skin So Soft. I love it. It just reminds me of my childhood. It reminds me of when I was a kid because it's been around forever.
A little too.
It's so
pungent.
Avon. It's so Avon, and I love it. It just.
But we do hear that it works, and I think it does. Roth Lady Wright over on Local said, I would love that ride that we just showed. And Minnesota Solar Baby says, Daisy, you need to be eating a tablespoon of local honey daily to boost your antibodies to your specific area allergens.
Oh, okay. Local honey. All right.
Which would be made like locally. So it would have
like, that's
cool. I didn't know that was a
honey.
thing.
I will totally do that. I will find some local honey. I love that. And I love honey.
Well, there you go.
Okay. Didn't know that was
now
a thing.
you.
Okay. Andrea Cleaver, shout out to my sis, Mindy McGee, new listener, has a full-time job and started a nonprofit for rescue dogs, Cackling Canines. Great name.
Love it.
Takes in strays, fixes them up, and finds their forever home. Love her.
Oh
that is
my
so wonderful.
gosh,
What a
that is
great
amazing.
job. What a great life. It's so fantastic. Sandy Stokes, baby James, born 11 February, 11 weeks early, is thriving and will come home today if he passes the car seat test. Please pray.
I remember the car seat tests.
Sandy, I love that. Karen Elliott, Kaitlan is a Margaret. As a Karen, I disavow her. Yes.
I don't really care, Margaret.
Right. YOLO Brick Road. Wall Street is on TDS Central. That's the problem. It's true. Don Quixote. The media is treating politics like a reality show production. They are trying to manufacture and hype up conflict for the sake of ratings. True. Teresa Raimundo. He's throwing his hat in the ring. Nothing was accomplished. Make no mistake. He is a full-on liar. He just wanted a record. I don't know who we're talking about.
Becerra, maybe?
I don't know who we're talking about. Sorry.
I don't know. I think it was Becerra. I could be wrong.
Montez Northcutt. My mom's doppelganger is Betty White. Looked like her 60 years ago, and they still look just alike. That's pretty cool.
Oh my gosh. Betty White. She's 100, right? Like she's legit 100?
No, she died. I think she died, didn't she? You guys.
She did?
Yeah.
Did she die at 100?
She died she died on December 31st, 20.
But was she 100? 99. She didn't make her birthday.
She died right before her 100th birthday. Yeah, she died.
Oh, like 17 days before her 100th.
Her 100th birthday. Yeah. Right.
That sucks. I forgot she died.
I know. I feel like she's going to stay alive forever. Avatar Ashkenazi. Can Linda McMahon hire Steve Austin to be the one to tell libs to get a job, a life, and the F out of the way? If you're for that, give me a hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Aaron Nerm, fact, 100% of people in favor of abortion were not aborted. Now take my money. It's very true.
That is a good factoid.
Brian Brumley. I'd say take all the seats to the girl with that big butt complaining about car seats, but that would be redundant. That's right. Stevie J.
She does take all the seats.
Takes every single person's seat. Stevie J. High-end car companies like Ferrari, Lamborghini, and Bugatti have lists of people they will not sell a car to. Guess she just made the list, and these companies won't care one bit. Very true. Tina Kramer, happy Thursday to my favorite chicks family. I really have missed Scott Walker as our governor in Wisconsin. Instead, we have Mr. Moron Evers. Please bring back Mr. Wonderful Walker. Yeah, he was really great. I really like him too. He's aggressively normal. Jose Rodriguez, morning from Texas. About that badonkadonk chick. I'd like to hear the car maker's rebuttal. Take my money. Yeah, we would too. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
You guys bring it in. Bring it in. We have one more day to the weekend, you guys.
That's right.
One more day. Everybody have a fabulous Thursday, and we will talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
Hello, beautiful people. This is the Chicks on the Right's Indian correspondent. Thank you for watching or listening. Be very sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to stay up to date on all of their delicious content. Okay, thank you. Come again.